All right, there you go. You're live.
Okay.
Introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Christina Senatori, and welcome to Thursday with a Therapist on
Therapy.
Saturday night because the therapist was tired on Thursday night.
Right.
It's your show. You're allowed to do that.
Yeah, I can do whatever I want. I can do whatever I want. This is my sister, Andrea,
Hello.
the Enlightened Colonist. She is a certified wellness coach.
Correct.
Okay. And of course, Andrea.
All right, hold on. Let me remove you from solo layout.
Okay.
So there we go. So I'm here.
Okay.
Dr. Jesus Shuttlesworth is in the building. And, you know, we're here to talk. I thought it's really Christina's show, y'all, but today she has a heathen like myself to juxtapose some of these things. And basically, the topic of your show today, even though I'm speaking for you, is basically, um, has social media made dating irrational? And I asked a few questions like, does Instagram and dating apps, does it make dating easier or actually harder? And does social media promote and kind of like propagate people's insecurities in dating, right? And I wanted you two beautiful women take on this because even though I think your sister, I presume your sister,
Is married.
Is married,
Correct.
Yes.
but Christina, you were once married, and now you're a professional woman who is not who is single, right? So the thing is that you and your sister though are totally aware of social media, being that we're on social media as we speak.
Yes, and my sister has a platform on social media, so
Okay.
she really is more experienced with that than I am. And what it looks like to various people, how people portray themselves, how they don't portray themselves, what you know about a person, and then what they put on
really
social
shows.
media. Right.
Correct. I use the platform for, of course, personal, but also my business. I started to evolve the business into social media because of the times we're living in, and everybody wants that. And social media is great for certain things. It has a great aspect for business. You can promote your business. You can reach 1,000 different people in areas.
Right.
But when it comes to relationships, I think it's away from the actual work that it takes to have a great relationship. Right? No relationship can be. They're not easy. It's always about work. It's about consistency, and it's about a dance, right? You have to be willing to give and to take with each other.
Right.
And I feel like, especially in the dating stages, that whole courtship is lost, and that whole engagement is kind of removed. So, liking somebody's picture isn't enough. It used to be back in the day, now I'm dating myself, get my cane, that we would,
get my wheelchair if you have a cane.
We would, if you were interested in somebody, you had to call them on the telephone. You had to ask your friends where they were, or where the person to bump into them, right? So there was this whole energy that was given when you courted, I am 105, when you started to have an interest with somebody, and now social media takes that away.
I feel like some of the texting even is considered like a date or two. Like, it's like, that's your conversation. You don't even know the person's, what their voice sounds like.
Correct.
Correct. Like I told Andre the other day, maybe it was yesterday, I said, I will never, go out with somebody I meet, let's say on a dating website, unless I hear their voice. Like, I'm never going to arrange to meet them. Like, I need to hear them.
Right. It also comes down to, I think, we evolve, right? We, especially our generation, we had access to it all. We had no cell phone, we had no Wi-Fi, and then we had it.
Yep.
So we have we know the best of both worlds.
I remember when we got the answering machine and call waiting.
Oh, that was best,
and that wasn't that long ago.
Waiting, right?
Like, it's really not that long ago.
Right.
It's not that long ago. You're right. It's not that long ago at all.
Yeah, so I think that
we did have indoor plumbing though. The plumbing was always indoor.
We didn't have to go out to the outhouse.
No,
no.
Sure. No. Yeah. I feel like with social media, it's like anything else. So Andre sometimes says like, I do like what's that, like the two-step or the shuffle or whatever. I don't really answer a question sometimes.
Oh yeah, the therapist shuffle.
Therapist shuffle, right? But honestly, when he asks the question, does social media make it easier? Is it a detriment? Is it a benefit? My answer is yes.
To all of it.
To all of it.
To all of it.
Because you get all of it with it. You know, like you get the good, you're able to connect with more people, right?
Right.
To in today's day and world and age, you know, people say, oh, I want to meet someone organically. It is organic now.
That's what my point was.
A dating website. It is regular.
Life evolved. Everything evolved.
Yes.
And, you know, everybody's saying, oh, social media ruined everything. It's not social media that ruined it.
Right.
It is.
I think it's Daddy. It's the videos.
I know, right? What are you watching? So I think that it's the individual that gets bombarded by these images, by this, you know. I feel like when you are constantly surrounded by easy access, right? When you're getting everything you want,
immediate gratification,
you're constantly happy, quote unquote. So you're getting what you need. Oh, good, I got this. Oh, I got that. Oh, I got that. But that eventually turns in, when that doesn't shut off, that turns into anxiety. That turns into feeling unsatisfied after a while.
Well, all that immediate gratification is like pressing a button in your brain, like dopamine, right? So when you're not doing it and you're away from it, you're jonesing, like you're in
and
withdrawal.
You don't know what
and
to
that
do.
brings the anxiety and
that's
sadness.
Part of right, and that's also part of, like, you'll see like that scroll everybody does. Nobody can be in their person for more than like 30 seconds. Yeah. If you notice when you're online, even at the grocery store,
you have to have the phone in your hand.
They can't watch and observe. It's always like, oh, let's go flick through.
So Christina and Andrea, do you think what social media did as far as dating, is it psychology or more pathology? Meaning, because obviously, so for example, in what I've noticed in my peer group, and that can be anything from 42 all the way down to 20, right? The way social media has kind of like merged generations together. Sure. Some of my generation who are in their late 30s or early 40s are, some of them hasn't caught up to social media, right? And some of them haven't so some of them haven't adjusted to how, even because one thing I noticed is that more women, right? More women are adept to social media than men are, right?
In what way?
I'm talking about in an age group, in a certain age group. Okay. So if they're in their late 30s, early 40s, more women are more social media savvy than men are. And I think men have not caught up to that. Hence why we did the last episode with Obsession when I did She Don't Care, right? So, for example, I think the pathology of it is like either learn it, utilize it, and fake it like everybody else, or be just a regular guy who just doesn't have access to like women now, because it's like women are more users of it on a daily basis and guys are like tinkering with it, right? And then you see men become so socially awkward because, like y'all said, y'all used to exchanging the number or exchanging actually line sight of seeing the woman you like. But now it's like she could live across the country and you could see her and you can get her, which is fine. I have no problem with that. But the problem is that I think it left out a lot of men. For example, this has nothing to do with social media, right? There's this joke that I tell people who work in like retail. Like, if you work in a department store and you see a black guy with his girlfriend and he asks you for True Religion, he just came home from jail, right? Because no one wears True Religion. You understand where I'm coming from? Right. It's like, and that's how it is with men in dating, right? Who's not used to what's going on in social media. They think it's like. Go ahead.
Can't you say the same thing? Like when, let's say someone is like in a 20, 30 year relationship, like when they're married or whatever, and now they're back in the dating scene, like they don't know how to do it. Even before social media, but now because of social media, everything is it's so quick now, like how things change and things like that. So you really, there's more to not know faster.
And I also think I get your point, Andre, with the men. But I do believe it's also women as well. Even though we are more savvy with it, I'm speaking from, just being on it all the time. We're not looking for, that's not true. Not every woman is looking for something, but we are also looking for working out and for recipes more
nutrition
so
and
than
vitamins
men.
and
Right.
Men have their little things they look for.
Yeah.
But what we're looking for is more on a daily life. But yeah, so it works into more of a daily life, I think, more so.
What do you think about how social media, and I'm going to start with men first, right? So what do you think about how Instagram, because women and men look for each other on Instagram, right? Period. So what do you think about Instagram that like where
it's more of a I call it like the foodie freaks. It sounds horrible, but people who love food
or love whatever
are kind of, we're all a little strange, like in certain ways. So it's an awesome, it's an awesome but crazy connection. Like you see a picture of something like, oh great, and then that starts a conversation, and that starts a conversation, and that starts a conversation, and that could bring you into a whole nother realm.
Well, I could say culturally in my demographic, I think you see Instagram, right? So men on Instagram, you'll see a man with a bottle of Moet or a bottle of champagne or a bottle of whatever, right? Ace of spades or whatever, and then they're in front of their friend's Maserati, and then obviously, even if they got a gut, the shirt is just high enough so you can see the designer belt, right? And then it kind of like lures the woman in, right? And then you meet the guy, and then you find out he's unemployed, he has no money, and then it's just
that's not his belt,
right? Exactly,
and it's not even his belt, right? And then it's like, so flip that coin, and then you got the woman that takes headshots and headshots and headshots, and then she uses filters.
I was just gonna get to that.
Yeah.
And then she meets the guy, and then tells the guy, "You're not.
This is the guy.
You don't even look like. You don't even look like your pictures."
But neither does she.
And it's like, baby, you don't look like. But as a man, I see. Me and Christina talk about this, and me and every woman I have conversation. I understand that I can't even retort back like, "Girl, you don't look like your pictures," because that's not apropos.
But it's true, though. It's very simple.
But it's not apropos.
Let me tell you, I had a friend that I met on Instagram. And I'm not going to mention her name.
I know, yeah.
But I met her on Instagram, and we clicked, and we were local. I'm like, let's meet for coffee. Let's do whatever. I almost didn't recognize her when I met her because she always was so filtered, and she literally distorted her body. Like she had this app that pulled weight off her arm.
Wow.
And I'm like, whoa, that's a lot of work. And again, it's not only, I think social media comes down to, comes down to the relationships, the constantly being on, it comes down to who you are as a person and what you are lacking. I truly believe that people are on social media because they are missing something from their life.
Everyone for every topic?
Not everyone, but a lot of it. I'm on social media a lot, and there's a lot of people that are lonely, that are unhappy with themselves, that are
right. So are you on social media because you don't have a life? Not just playing. I'm just playing with you. But you're right though. You're right though.
That's what I'm saying. Like my life is work right now. So
right. So
yes, so I do. I'm in it a lot, and it's honestly exhausting to the point of like, do I even want to do it anymore? So like that's where I'm at personally.
See, my thing is relationships. Even if you meet on social media, I think once y'all get in a relationship, y'all should not be on each other's Facebook. Y'all should not be on each other's Instagram because it's so many outside factors that can test a person's relationship. And the one thing, listen, the one thing I know is that, women by nature, men are territorial. Men are territorial from the external part, but women by nature are more territorial from the intrinsic part. Meaning, I could be minding my business and write, uh, good day to all you beautiful people. Hey, sexy, and then I gotta explain for 3 hours why some random woman called me sexy, and I ain't even, and I should just say, hey, hello, good morning, beautiful people,
I don't
right?
know. I don't know why they
Right,
call me sexy.
exactly.
Right,
Okay,
and I think that's like you're adding an extra obstacle to having a productive relationship. Listen, if I'm with you every night and I lay with you every night and I'm eating with you every day, why do I got to check in with you on Facebook? Right?
well,
So
here's
that's the difference.
my retort to that. My
Yeah, go
retort
ahead.
is that even though you were there, are you really
Hmm.
there? Because I know people who do a little sneaky on the side while they're with their partner.
See, you're putting out all my secrets, so I'm gonna have to erase this off the
He's
video.
gonna have to
But
meet
my
them.
thing is right.
I
But
mean,
my thing
That's
is
what I like
that
everything.
my thing is that you're right. Well, you know what? Let's be
Come
honest.
on, she's right.
Let hold
and
on, hold
it's
on,
not
hold on,
just
hold on,
men.
hold on.
It's
Let's
not
be
That's
honest.
just
just men.
men.
Hold
It's
on,
That's
hold
totally
on.
not just men.
Well, you women are horrible, but let's be honest.
Oh,
Let's be
I
honest.
just met you, Andre. We're gonna
Social
go fist to fist.
social media,
This
social
room.
media or no social media, men or women, like you say, will do their stuff, right? But
Yes.
in a functional relationship, you're adding so many extra obstacles in your
No, I don't
in
think
Depends on
so.
your
who.
I
relationship.
think
Yeah.
it's who
You
you're with.
are.
I think it's who
You
you're
are.
with. And if your work, that's the other thing too. Social media takes the work out of what a relationship is. And here's if something's lacking in the relationship and a
Mhm.
woman sees you liking this, liking that, throwing fire signs
Uh-huh.
up on your
Uh-huh.
pictures, right?
Uh-huh.
There is no need for anyone, men or women, when you're dating
Uh,
somebody
uh-huh.
to throw up the fire sign, to actually be like, damn, you look good. Like I could say that to 18 different men if it's the same thing. It's a
It's like
respect factor.
it's disrespect. Like it's like if you were in person with someone, but now it's
Right,
online.
but
It's
now
the
you're
same
online
thing.
because nobody's seeing it but you at the moment. Like you
Okay.
wouldn't do that on the street, like and not get knocked in the head. Like
But
everybody
see,
takes a look,
but
right?
see, that's the thing, right?
Everybody
And
takes a look though. So like,
that's
but
why
you
I
have to be
say,
cautious with it.
right. And see, that's why I say, is it more of a psychology or a pathology that
Well,
happens once you get on it, right? Because and I know they're interchangeable to an extent, right? I know
right.
Yeah.
pathology could fit into psychology, but what I'm saying is it like it becomes its own genre because a whole lifestyle and a bunch of creatures are created through 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 social media. You
Right.
understand where I'm coming from?
But you
Think
find
about this.
but
Think
we're
about this.
manipulated with the algorithms and all that, and all what goes together, and what you're seeing, and
Well,
what.
yes and no. Whatever you're looking for is
But
what you can find.
that's anywhere. But think about it like this: through social media, once again, right?
Mhm.
You have terms like instead of catfish, you got hatfish.
What does that mean?
What is it?
Meaning, oh, guy's always wearing a hat. He must have a receding hairline. You
Oh
know what
my
I'm saying?
goodness.
He
What
must
is
ain't
that?
got all his hair.
I've heard of that.
You
That's
know,
crazy.
they call it hatfish. Like it's a literal term.
I
Women
never
will
heard
tell
it.
you, don't hatfish me. But it's the same woman that has a filter in every
You're
picture.
you're 100% right.
You're
You're
right.
100% right.
So
I
that
will
in
not
itself
disagree with you.
makes dating more difficult because it's like, yo,
Yes.
100%.
I gotta come to the table with a six pack, with a perfect hairline. I gotta be 6'4", 18-inch penis. I gotta have a Range Rover driven by a horse. I gotta have a swimming pool with a fishing pool inside my swimming pool. I gotta have a backyard and a
Right.
doghouse. Gotta have a
No, you're
backyard.
right. And then then the other aspect, and I also think it's
Yeah.
everybody's different. I think social media brings out people looking for that. Like it's easy, it's quick, it's everybody wants to be a model on Instagram. Honey,
No.
sir, you're not a model. Like
No.
And you know what I'm starting to notice when I used to be on these apps doing field research because I started to realize how loony women were, right? And one thing I started to notice was that every woman on these apps is a CEO, a CFO, a vice president. Now you could literally look up Bureau of Labor Statistic numbers and realize women CEOs in this country is like minuscule, infinitesimal to an extent, right? And everyone, I challenge any man or woman to go on these dating apps. VP of this, CEO of that, and then you think about the garbage man who just want a regular woman.
And I'll say it again, as I always do, good benefits.
Yeah, right. But good benefits don't. Yeah, but how can I say? Um, he doesn't even have a reason to use his benefits to get his teeth fixed because the girl in the bikini who's a CFO
Yeah, that's true.
won't swipe at him, right? Because or he's hesitant to approach her because every single woman he sees on these platforms or dating apps are either CFO, a freelance producer, or a VP of something, and you be like, "Yo, is it that many Fortune 500?"
Well,
there's not.
Going back to your
Exactly
point with the pathology and the psychology with the dating websites and social media.
Mm-hmm.
So with social media, it's like we're seen, right?
Right.
Like here's me going to
Right.
Starbucks, hit like the most silliest whatever, right? Like important things, life-changing things contributing to the betterment of society, and just like whatever, right? Whatever you're doing, whatever. But we're seen, but we're not seen at the same time, because there's the bravado, there's filters, there's
right. Hyperbole, bravado, braggadocio.
Right. So now we're going to the dating websites where there's a photo, right? And then you're texting on there. It gives more, I feel like it gives more time to not be yourself, because you're not in that human connection right away.
Correct.
And a lot gets misinterpreted with because you kind of like text on the app.
You can't hear the person's cantor either in their
voice. There was
So
one person that I always want to like speak to someone. I mean, I want to speak to them. So after a few conversations, so he wanted to he wanted like an active, like not an active, but like a picture, right? But if I'm talking to you at like 10 o'clock at night, like
I'm not sending you a picture.
My hair might be in a bun and I'm completely shiny moisturized. You know what I mean? I'm not. I have my green mask on, and
I really want a picture,
and my hair oil. Like I'm not in a, whatever. So I said, you know what? Let's FaceTime tomorrow.
Right.
He deleted me. He wanted a picture. I'm like, that's this. I go, even better. I'll FaceTime you.
Yo, he wanted to see you put on your badger paste and wanted to make sure that everything.
I'm not. So anyway, Andre's his own best friend.
I know, right? I'm like, what the hell is that?
So I feel like it. Woo! Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It looks like y'all need a best friend.
Here we go.
But yes.
So I feel that it listen, there's a lot of pathology. Listen, I'm on a dating website. There's a lot of pathology on there. But we try to hope for the best. I mean, there are times like people, maybe they don't answer because of the who's the CFO and who's this and who's that, right? When I see like a man like in this ridiculous yoga pose with a fish this big and then climbing the mountain, he's like, I need someone to do triathlons with. I'm like, I like to exercise, but that's a lot. Like I'm intimidated. I'm intimidated. I don't want. That's a lot. You got to be able to like the boat. I'm nauseous on a bus. Like I can't.
So you're telling me. I get what you're saying. You're basically saying in that picture, he or she are framing their whole life in one snapshot, right? So like you said, you got a guy in his leggings and he's climbing a mountain at 6:30 p.m. and the sun is blazing down his back, and at the same time he's telling you that he loves to do yoga, and I get it, right? And that's right. But the one thing I noticed, so flip the coin to the other side, the one thing I noticed is that most of these women that are CFOs and VPs, and they're all in bikinis.
And honestly,
CFOs are going to be in bikinis.
Listen, you're not. There's one thing that will never change, and that is when you are business, and that goes from every aspect of the coin, from having a cookie business to having a wellness business to being in the music business. People who are successful are business and they don't mix both. So you will never see a true CEO, CFO, whatever it is,
Right.
on a daily. Every now and then they might be in, Maldives,
right.
Maldives on their
Right.
Great, but on a daily, they're not showing their shit.
Even
Can I
on
say
it,
that?
yeah. You can say what you said, vagina. You can say shit. Right.
Okay.
Anyway, so
Yo, y'all best
Don't
friends
get me
too.
started because I'm just like a truck driver, so we're gonna really.
Hilarious.
But if it's okay, but you know what? If it's a dating website,
Okay.
can the CFO, can she show? Well, first of all, you have the double standard of society with the women, right?
Right.
But can you show that bikini, even though your business, like Andre knows,
Sure.
How long did it take me to go on Facebook? I was like, no, I'm confidential. I'm a therapist. Like that's right.
How long did it take you to get your iPad out of the box?
How many?
Was
5 months, right? I just
so.
went on calendar and go. Like it's too much. So, so what I'm saying is like, even like doing this with Andre, like he's been wanting me to do this for a long time. We've been, friends for a long time. And I'm like, yeah, but is it professional enough? You know what I'm saying? But it depends on the realm of what we're talking about and how we set the tone for the evening.
Correct.
Right.
And of course the woman on the dating app can have that. But I think when we're talking about social media, nobody's gonna really do that if they're legit. You know what I'm saying?
That's my point.
Yeah, I don't think that's
because if you can, even if you can, it doesn't mean you should.
And as a person that owns a business, I'm not walking around every day being like, yo, man, I got my own business. I am owner and CFO. I am also the food prepper and the scheduler
the
and the dishwasher and the shopper. Like
right.
We're everything.
Yeah.
So there's a humbleness that has to come with that. And that's why, social media has made a lot of really great things, but it's also taken away a lot of stuff.
And I do feel that it gives the platform to, I don't know, people are inappropriate in person, but I feel that you can be very inappropriate online.
What do they call keyboard?
Texting balls. That's what it is.
Well, there's also keyboard.
What is it called?
Texting balls. Yeah, but they also
because someone will say to you, "Oh, you know what? They're not going to say that to you in person. You know what I mean? They're gonna email it. They're gonna text it. They're gonna message it. Then they're not gonna say it more in person."
All right. So here's my thing, right? I have a concept that I started to flirt with because of social media, but it comes out of the show Catfish, right?
Okay.
As a therapist, who is the bigger victim, the catfish or the catfisher? Who do you think is the bigger victim?
Victim or person with issues or needs?
Well, both. To me, it's synonymous.
I think it is a main. I think it's one of the main human feelings that goes with like horribleness, to be duped, like that feeling of.
So you're saying the victim. So you're saying the fisher, the catfishy is the victim. That's what you're saying.
If you want, in technical terms, the person who was catfished is the victim of not identity fraud, like we're taking your bank account.
Right.
But if you are doing that to somebody else, you have significant pathology, and not
exactly
around pathology. Like you have significant pathology out of like a diagnostic and statistical manual being diagnosed. You have personality disorder. You
100%, and this is why the catfisher is the true victim. Any human being, right? See, this is hold on. This is why I say this. Right?
Victim's the right word.
No, they are, because look, any human being, right? But first, let's get to the person that got catfish first, and then I'll explain the latter.
Okay.
The catfish, the one that got catfish, lives in 2020. Let's go back 2 years ago, 2020, 2021, 2022. You all know that there's no such thing as you not being able to video call or have some type of physical interaction if you're not in the same room. You can literally, there's always a way to see this person.
Yes.
So for you to literally throw logic out the window and say, well, yeah, maybe her phone is broke every single time. And maybe her internet is down every single time,
Maybe
right?
it just might be good.
That is a
I think it's
form of
Wi-Fi.
that's a form of idiocy, right? Or you just you lack self-awareness. Now let's get to the catfisher. The
Okay.
catfisher is the true victim. If you ever watch that show Catfish, even though I still believe 80% after season 1 was fake, but if you watch the show Catfish and you listen to that person, they are literally going through living hell. If you look at the way they look, you listen to their story, they don't their reality is so bad that
So
they had to create something to give them positive energy,
so
which
let's say
creates go ahead.
it's a matter of semantics then maybe-ish, because the person that has been fooled or duped is the one that's getting catfished, but there has been damage brought on to the catfisher, not from that person that they catfished. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, that's my point. They're
So
already the victim. You understand? The catfisher is already the victim. That's why they're catfishing.
They're a victim of something in their life.
Right, but they are the
They're
bigger
a
victim.
victim of
You know,
something in their life.
right, and let me frame that for you. You know why they're the bigger victim? Because if you look at the person that they catfish, the person that they catfish is usually a very attractive person. That person could go outside the next day, slip, like sometimes this happened to me. You out shoveling snow, minding your business, slip, trip, fall in vagina. That can happen. So my thing is the person that is catfishing doesn't have the option, doesn't have the resources, doesn't have they didn't win the genetic lottery. Sometimes they come from abject poverty, and they and
but I'm not feeling badly for more badly for the worse for better
More better for
oh Lord, y'all are tripping.
So I'm not feeling that way towards the catfisher. I'm feeling that way for someone who is catfished. But as a therapist, I know there's significant problems for someone who's catfishing other people.
And
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm listening.
The catfisher, to go through all of this, they have resources. If they can put this shit together and catfish somebody, they can do something else to get what they need. I don't
right. And I listen, that's my point though, right? So when I say resources, meaning resources to access people, they can access a person's picture on the internet and then create a whole profile and alter ego. But a lot of them live in a form of seclusion too.
But
right?
that may not be because there aren't other people around. It's because they're personally, psychologically, mentally, emotionally inept to associate with them, to socialize with them. So they have this inner, more egocentric world.
Right. And it comes down to this. We all know what is right and wrong if we are not mentally unstable. Or so if for an average Joe Schmo, you know what I'm saying? You know it's wrong. You know it's wrong. I don't believe in that.
What about right and wrong when it comes to where you grew up, where things might be more allowable or excused, or
I guess it is per se where it might be, but I think in the long run, this person is reaching out to somebody because they want to be loved.
Yeah,
they want to have something.
It's a human
and whether
need.
Or not they know it's right or wrong. Eventually it flips flops on them. And then after a few times of it failing, you have to be ready and willing to make a move, to make that change, to be like, this isn't working. Right. What can I do?
Plus, you have I forgot what I was going to say, but anyway.
Okay. Andre. You're on, Andre.
So basically, Christina and Andrea, y'all both believe the catfished are the victim, and then that the catfisher just has multiple issues. That's what y'all saying?
Well, they're both victims. I think in some way or another, they're both victims.
Well, who's the bigger victim? How about that?
you know, it depends.
Listen, okay,
it depends on the situation.
Let's bring it to more of a heinous topic, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
someone who is sexually abused, right?
Okay. Okay.
Growing up, let's
Right.
say they become a child molester.
Okay.
So the
Okay.
child, they molest the child.
Right. Hurt people. Hurt people. Right.
Who's the victim?
In that case, we're talking about, but in that case, we're talking about you're talking about like literally physically. Because the reason why I say the person that is catfished is definitely a total less victim of the catfisher
Mhm.
is because, like I say, one, they threw away everyday logic, right? Because everyday logic tells you now whether you have a Samsung or if you have an iPhone, you can always FaceTime someone,
But
right?
when people
Number,
are starting to get feelings, you would be surprised of their
yeah,
like,
but they threw
oh,
away,
they're really not, you know.
but they still threw away like baseline logic, right?
Yes.
And then, like I said, number two, the person that's catfishing, they're not catfishing Fat Albert. They're catfishing a person who they aspire to have on a physical level. You see it all the time on the show, right? They're catfishing like these beautiful people, right? And these beautiful people who that's why you got to question the show's actual authenticity because it's like
Well, reality
these are
shows are not reality.
right. We know that season one. I will definitely give it 80% authentic because it was a new concept to the world as far as like
Mhm.
people. Because I ain't gonna lie, when I was in my early 20s, women did it all the time on Yahoo chat rooms. We used to play like Yahoo pool. Trust me when I tell you.
Mhm.
But it, but like I said, like to me,
There
the new catfishing are these dating apps on both sides, men and women,
mhm.
right?
Could be.
Because
It
It
gives you
you
opportunity for
gives you
that.
opportunity. It gives you opportunity even for the simplest things. You post a picture of yourself
right,
5 years ago instead of now,
That's
and
right.
yes,
gains
yes,
weight. So,
yes,
you know,
Mhm.
there's a whole pathology behind it. You're 100% right, and I believe that that social media, that the internet has
right,
changed that and helped make that possible.
right, 100%.
And then you know, it's also with values and morals. There's 100 different, you know, how you were raised, where you were raised, that take place in it. It's not just a simple answer with, you know, relationships. You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree, I agree, I agree.
I think that, you know, there are people out there that are looking for something real. And then I believe that there are people that are looking for something real and then get sucked into the easiness of having, you know, phone sex or sending pictures or having I truly believe that because that's instant gratification. There's no
Right.
work that needs. Hey, good looking, you're looking sexy. You know,
I will say right. Social media has
Mhm.
taken the fun out of swindling women out of vagina. I agree with you that because, but I will say that
Just not the
you
topic.
know
no, that's another
it's
show.
not the topic. All right. Well,
Oh,
and to me it is, but
vagina
nonetheless,
swindling? No, that's
yeah, I'm
next
talking about.
week.
I said social media has taken the fun out of it. It takes the creativity out of it because, like she said, like your sister said, if the woman as a guy, if the woman swipes you, you know you already are batting 1,000. Now it's kind of for you like to bring home the run, right? Like RBI, run batted in, right? The man is on third. You got you're at bat, right?
Mhm.
Can you bring it home from there, right? Whereas when you're in a supermarket and Andrea or Christina has a little cart and she's going down the produce aisle and I think she's kind of attractive. I know my window, it is so small of the point of
Mhm.
attack, right? I may not see her again. You dig where I'm coming from?
And that's part of
Right.
what the problem is about. We had to, you know, ask if we had that, if we liked someone, if we had that
You had to
click,
do it.
you had to do it, or it was a
Right, right,
must.
right,
Or
right,
pray they would show up at another function that was similar.
Right. So think
right.
about the lack of practice everyone's getting in
Correct. So when they, so
interpersonal
when,
socialization and dating.
and that comes again with the whole, you know, the ease of it.
Yeah.
You can write. Everybody can really kind of
Yeah.
write and sound like they're, you know, brilliant and whatever else. But then when you're face to face, there's a whole nother element that takes over. There's nerves and there's,
I agree.
Action is there's so much that goes into it. So then you have to master that in person too. So that's why I think also dating falls flat, because when you meet somebody, there is that connect is gone. So where is this intellectual person you're talking to? Where is this person that you had this texting with?
Where's that person with the good lighting and with the filter? Right.
Hilarious.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
So okay.
It does listen, there's good and there's bad. You can meet like a weird person in person.
Right.
You can meet a
100%.
weird person online. You have the ability to meet more weird people online because of just the numbers. I mean,
right. It's everything is at your access.
Right. And you can find, and for some people, they want to have a relationship, or they think they want that, right? This person in their life, but
they're not capable of
they're
it
not
either.
capable. And maybe like the little bit of texting here and there is enough for them.
Correct.
It depends what they're really looking
Correct.
for.
I also think that it's a foundation that it's built on. Like if you're starting online and you're not in each other's lives, and going through the daily and making the time to see each other, I think that affects the relationship as well.
Yes, because it's not about just even some time together. Like, where's your connection when you're not together?
Correct.
That's what keeps it going. You can't be like, oh, okay, like 50 first dates, like we don't remember anything. Like, where are you?
Right. And
right.
That we are human and we need that connection. That's why over the pandemic, so many people committed suicide. That's why there was such, drug use went up.
Yes.
It's because people.
But that's why also all the apps shot out the roof during the pandemic.
Sure, because they need it, right? Because they needed something.
Right.
One of my best friends is gay, and he was on this app called Grindr, and and I had no idea what it was, and he was telling me that basically you look to see, I guess the gay community is much different too, but you who's in your area and who wants to hook up.
Yeah.
So, and that was also
Jesus Christ.
So so it's a totally different. So this all went on in the pandemic. So there's 100 people made fortunes on every aspect of it. It was all timing with the pandemic, with the apps. So the dating apps,
the delivery services,
that. There wasn't anything that if you could key into a service that you didn't have to physically be there, you were a millionaire.
Yeah. Listen, I invested in all that stuff, even though they're taking a hit now, tech stocks. So slightly okay. So what do y'all think, you two ladies? And this is conjecture from all of us, because I know none of us has looked up the numbers. What do you think the success rate of these dating platforms and social media when people meet? Like, how many do actually get married? That's a good question. Like,
it's a great question. I don't know the statistics, but I do know several people that have met online and have been married
and are still together
and have been married for many, many years.
But this was before.
Wow.
This was way before.
And that's when there were pen pals. That's when there were phone conversations. That's when there was a whole different, that is what builds connection. When it's, it's
right.
You wonder about I don't have to wonder about, if my sister's not on it, but my sister was on it every day. My sister never has to wonder what I'm doing, let's just say, because she knows when I'm cooking. She knows when I'm delivering.
Yep.
She knows when I'm with a client. She knows, because that's my social media platform. You could, that's kind of scary, actually. You could actually know where, pretty much within, what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And right. A lot of people. That's just hey, I'm at Starbucks. Hey, I'm, here. Hey, I'm doing this. Hey, I'm eating a hot dog. Hey, it's all there and easy access to follow somebody.
And it's a good thing, right? But society is so, and this is more psychological, there's so much, right? Like we're connected, we're overly connected, always the phone, always the computer. It's we're multitasking at a rate that, like, the human brain, we've talked about this, it can't keep up with it. So now it makes it so that everything has to be so quick and surface, because we can't dig into anything.
Microwave society, yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
That's a great, yes.
Right. So because like Andre knows, my sister knows, I would love to meet someone and have a partner. My saying is before I die one day, you know, whatever. And I get the violin, right? So, but then there are times, you know, I'll be flaky. I'll be like,
No,
do
don't
I
wanna be
really,
bothered,
do I
right.
really, I got a lot going on. Like, I don't really even want to go
Right.
out to even meet this
Right.
person, you know, and they seemed nice. I thought I liked them, like, but I don't have any good reason.
Yeah.
It's just, that's what we're used to doing, you know,
Correct.
Right.
just
Right.
Quick,
you know,
right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
So,
interesting. That's interesting. I
you
think
know, maybe the online thing, you know, I find it intimidating a little bit too, because people, you know, people really talk themselves. I mean, you have to. You can't give all your like,
Right. You can't be like,
you know, if they
hey,
snore
right.
or they do this or they, you know,
Right.
don't put
Right.
the toilet seat down, you know, whatever,
And
like
again,
all that.
tough because again, you would learn that with being with somebody.
Right.
It's that, you know, it's really kind of,
Yeah.
we're lacking the fact that no matter what, a relationship takes work. And if you're looking for easy, you're not going to find a relationship. You're
No.
going to find somebody that you're going to have sex with online. That's really what it
Yeah.
comes down to.
And if that's what you're interested in,
God bless.
right? And the person that you're with is on the same page, fantastic.
Great. But a lot of times it's miscommunication too.
Yes.
A lot of times, this goes back to the show we did Sunday. A lot of times, listen, women do not understand men had to create a facade in order to even get the stimulation of a woman's body. Ever since that show, I've known it before me, Obsession, and Christina for a second jumped on. But all this week, it has been blatant how much men and how so socially awkward men have become because of the lack of access to women, even with social media, even with these dating platforms. These men are not getting no play. And my heart goes out to them. I wish I could start a United Negro, get him some vagina fund, but it just doesn't work. Like these women are, like you
Listen,
said,
you laugh, but you can make a course. You can make a master class and make some money. I'm telling you.
that's just, but see, I'd rather do it. I would love to do it for free because I understand the plight of us, right? Of men who don't have the opportunity. You know, I was talking to my friend Warren and I was telling him, like, even let's just go back into like the gold rush of the United States, right? So post slavery, right? Let's go into pre Oregon Trail, post slavery. Or it could be, yeah, post slavery. And what happened, right? When men started to leave what is now Louisiana and Texas, and really Louisiana or Alabama, you know, that part of America, and started to head west, right? These men were on the gold rush, right? And what did they do? They used to work 12-hour days sometimes, 6 days a week. And what did they do when they get paid? They would go into saloons, right? And purchase their woman,
Correct.
right? And after that night of them having that comfort of a woman, they would work another 6 days nonstop just to do the same thing, right? Now in America, you have so many men who's working, wake up, might brush their teeth, might not, might wash their ass, might not, go to work for
That's
10,
why they
12
don't have
hours,
women. No.
Aha,
get a
touche.
12, get a 12, that's maybe true. Work 12 hours, go home, eat their hungry man dinner, watch the game,
Swanson.
Swanson,
watch,
right?
watch the game. I'm talking about not only watch the game, psychoanalyze the game,
Yes.
just so they can have something to talk with another man the next day. And that's all they do. And what happens is they see an attractive woman, a not so attractive woman, a beautiful woman, and they go crazy. They don't know how to converse with her, but they ultimately don't know that she does not have uh, um, a responsibility to like him back, right? And that's where the lines are blurred because then it becomes a choice of, do you want to be nice to the guy and just be cordial and understand that he's really an incel, or he's a guy that just does not have opportunity to be with a woman, or do you just be a prick and give him nuclear rejection, right? And I see. I listen. I could tell you. I'm trying to think this week alone. Okay, the guy Christina knows who I talk about at nauseum. He one day, help him Jesus, but he was talking to this girl who happened to be married, and he was like, "Yo, I didn't get your name." She said, "I ain't give it to you," and he totally just ignored that part and then went into this whole spiel like, "Yeah, you know, you just different. You just got your thing going. You different from these other type of chicks." And she just looking at him like, "Get out of my face." And then he goes to like, "Yo, I only drink on my day off. I drink the day before my day off so I can, just relax." And she just looking at him like, "What?" And it's like that is like he is like the microcosm.
But why is that? I don't feel I
They
don't
are listen, they are the guys like I just told you that are left out because they haven't adjusted to what social media has turned the dating market in modern society to.
Did you bring your battery?
I do. I have to plug in my computer, so you
Yeah.
take over.
Okay.
All right.
Go ahead.
We'll be back.
Got it?
Yep.
Oh Lord Jesus.
I know.
So like I said, they have to, right? They have to adjust and they're left out of what.
Right.
So like you're social media savvy. I'm social media savvy, right? Um 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 Christina's social media savvy, but this dude is a nice guy, but he's not social media savvy.
Right.
Right.
And so he doesn't know the attitude that these women have now. All he knows, he can't get a woman.
Right. I get what you're
He
saying.
knows that. And what happens is listen, you know what's crazy? They're all socially awkward, but they all have their own variance to it. Like one might just have like random conversations about random things. The other one may just be totally so persistent that the woman goes crazy, like, "Yo, leave me alone." Then the other one doesn't realize he has like intensely stank breath and that is like, "Bro, or a homie, like, listen, you might need to get that checked, right?" But they don't. All of it plays a part
Of
because
course.
this one, you know what I'm starting to realize, Christina and Andrea. I something dawned on me today. You gotta question if a man can get a girl, right? No, you gotta question if a man's mind starts to say, "Ain't no woman give me no love. Why do I have to brush my teeth today?"
Okay.
Ah.
I got it.
Okay.
I got it.
It's a point.
It's a fair point.
Yo, yeah, listen, God spoke to me right there. I don't know what happened, y'all. That was the good Lord. But
The angels are coming down. Can you hear
I
that?
literally just, it dawned on me today when I was talking to
Whoa.
one of these people, one of my brothers. When I say brothers, meaning my friends, and I said, "Yo, this is a daily thing." And I started to question, did this dude one day wake up 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago and say, "Man, like, brush my teeth for what?"
But here's the other thing too you have to look at. My job is wellness, right? I own a wellness business. And from my own experience to working with my clients, I think that you have to be willing to do better for yourself and to take care of yourself before you bring in somebody else into your life. And that we sometimes look for people to make us happy, but we have to be working on our happiness and our health and our wellness. And we have to make sure, we can't give up on brushing our teeth because nobody's loving me. And I get the point that there is, that does happen.
A giving up, kind of like what
They've given up. They've given up.
I gave up myself when I was very overweight. I understand that concept. I lost 175 pounds because there was that point of there has to be more. I have to be here for my kids, whatever it is. And everybody's aha moment is different. But I believe that you have to be willing to care for yourself, love yourself first before you find somebody that's going to help you do it.
Right. So, okay. And listen, you're not going to agree with this, but I think it's easier for a woman to get out of that quicksand
Agreed.
than for a man. And let me tell
Yes,
you
I'm
why.
agreed.
Because I think the man sometimes is in the quicksand so long that he doesn't know he's in the quicksand. Now
And
that
he
can
can't,
happen. That can
and he,
happen for both sides. I'm
and he
definitely
can't,
cognizant of that.
but he can't, as a man, most men still today, he can't even say to someone,
I need help.
I'm in the quicksand.
Yo, that's
Like,
a
I
fact.
can't get out.
That is a fact.
Correct.
This country shows no sympathy for the mediocre guy or for the
And
guy that they feel
Any
is
man
like
that is in
any
trouble.
man that's in any man that's in
Men
trouble.
are considered weak if they're in trouble.
Right. And he'd rather die in the quicksand, at least he'll die thinking he's a man, than admit
that he needs help.
I need help. We're not, still, men are not socialized, you know.
and right,
men,
and
especially
you
men of
just
color,
say that again,
100%.
and especially my my demographic, my
100%.
socioeconomic graphic, where
Yes.
because I tell women of all colors, I don't care. Black men are the American black men. Let me make that statement. American black men are the only men that do not um uh 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 have the agency and the patriarchal like we do not have uh, a patriarchal privilege, and we definitely don't have like this masculinity that these women just toxic. We don't have none of that, right? We are literally the totem pole. We're not even the bottom of the totem pole. We're the dirt that the totem pole is stuck into. And when you understand that, we are literally the guys looking into this glass house of patriarchy saying, that chicken look good on that table. Man, she look like she know how to cook. Because we don't have that agency. And that's another reason why it's hard to ask for help, because no one's really gonna help you when you're in that situation. Very few people.
And you know, you have to
know where to look for the help.
Right. And even when
too.
you're loved and people try to help, right? Sometimes we're in that quicksand.
Gotta be ready.
Right? Right. But
with you and me 100 times. My sister always, when I was very overweight, she's like, come on, I'll pay for your gym membership. Come with me. Come with me.
She's a beautiful person.
She is.
Thank
and
you,
I was like, no, I'm like, screw you. I'm not going to the gym. I'm like, F you. I'm not going to the gym. I don't want to go. You have to be ready to do it.
I understand.
But also, I was like psychotically into the gym at that time. Like I was always in the gym, so that must be annoying to someone who is not in the gym.
No,
you know
I mean, it was also it wasn't more so of that. I was like, just get off my ass, girl. Like I was like, why are you bothering me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't in that frame of mind.
That's right.
You're not there, and especially, you know, we're raised by the same parents, obviously, in the same family, but our experiences are totally different.
Yes.
In that aspect.
Based on our personalities and temperament.
Correct.
And how we interpret things.
Correct. Yeah. So how you dealt with things and how I dealt with things were totally different.
Yep.
And what you thought was going on and what I thought was going on, it was just
at times were totally two different things.
Opposite ends. So I think there's a whole different, you know, especially if you don't have guidance, especially if you don't have some sort of, you know, family guidance, you know, parental guidance, it's hard to know as an adult what's right or wrong. It's hard to know with guidance.
That's right.
Because even our parents were all, you realize as you're an adult, they were fucked up and they were doing the best they could.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
They were messed up, and you know, we realize that now, but we love them just as much. You know, and
they're no more, you know, listen, everyone's got things parents do most times, most people, they do the best they can when they're raising their children, because they're raising them based on what they know and what they think is right, and you know what I mean.
You learn.
So then the next generation takes, you know what, all the good and all the positive, and then they're like, you know what, I'm going to tweak this, I'm going to tweak that. You know, forward, and you try to do different. You try to do
correct.
You know, you try to do better.
Somebody just mentioned that I thought was a great point that says, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. But there it is. So, but I can say that if how you look physically determines the love you have for who you are,
that's right.
Is another, and it's true. You have to learn to take care of yourself. You got to learn to feel good in your skin, and you don't have to. And here's the thing. Health in general, mental health, physical health, doesn't only come from the way you look, right?
Right, of course.
People who are so unhealthy, and there are overweight people who are actually healthy. So it comes to the fact of how you carry yourself, how you should, you know, and that snowballs into something more as you take care of yourself, as you learn to nourish yourself, as you learn to break the, you know, the generational trauma in life. It all kind of changes and brings you into a different level. So I agree. You have to learn, again, it comes back to loving yourself, to feeling good about yourself before you bring in love from someone else.
But then the question is also, right? So let's say you didn't get a lot of love growing up, or you didn't get consistent love, or you didn't get consistent care. Like that person always saying, you got to brush your teeth, man. You got to brush your teeth twice a day growing up, this and that. Like, if you don't get it, you're not even taught it in any way. You got to figure it out for yourself. Or let's say your parents loved you, but there was no time to show that love because they were working 3 jobs and they're single parent, and you know what I'm saying? And then what?
Then what?
You know, they're just trying to keep the lights on and food on the table.
100%. And that's where it comes to, it is a lot harder for different demographics, 100%. Yeah. But I think, it either comes from hitting rock bottom. I think, unfortunately, most people that make a change in anything come from hitting rock bottom and then taking that step, like, where does it differ? How do I make a difference? Where do I make a change?
And that's why and that's why we do shows like this, and we're, you know, to bring awareness, to bring conversation, to bring, you know, like when we ask each other questions, we don't necessarily have an answer, because some things I believe don't have an exact answer. It depends. And your answer might be different than my answer. It might be different than Andre's answer, but it promotes conversation and awareness and a sense of validation and a sense of other people are thinking these things
and you're not alone.
Or people grow up, you know, we think rigid, like, you know, it's got to be this way. Well, actually it doesn't. Maybe it can be this way. Maybe it can be that way. Oh, that's really cool. You know, when we had the show with DMG and we talked about, you know, bipolar and this and that, you know, we have, you know, a successful, like, man of color talking about his struggles with bipolar, you know, that's
huge because that's not spoken about,
because it's not spoken about. We don't even look at those things, you know, so it's bringing awareness.
And that's what it's about. It is awareness. It's about, you know, whatever you can do. I mean, this format in general, and this is what the asset of social media comes into, is that there is, you know, there's negative and positive in every aspect. And I think, once again, it comes down to where you're at, right? We start looking for different things and, you know, different changes when we're ready. And as long as it keeps on showing and you keep on showing up, and we, you know, things like this are continually done, that's how you reach people. That's how, you know, somebody just one day might be scrolling through and be like, oh, what's this?
Right.
So even though there may not be a response, you know, and I'm a big believer of that you live in what you love, and it affects people in certain ways. Like, I've been doing this for my business, my wellness business, for officially for just over 2 years, but I've been always dabbling in it for I guess a total of 7 years.
And I feel like this is who you are forever, because it truly is who you are.
And talking about, you know, social media and the benefits of it, I do this because I love it, and if I can help somebody, that's wonderful. But there's times where you're like, is anybody even lining? Is anybody, does it, you know, and then you get, every now and then I get one person saying, thank you for doing this. You spoke to me. You know, you gave me hope. And that's what this is about. That's the amazing factor of social media, is that.
Well, and you're right. See, this is why I wanted Christina, you know, to do it, or, you know, anybody I know, that, because I understand that people do not have a voice. No, listen, a counselor or a therapist is not cheap, and a lot of people don't have the insurances. So you can use social media just to let the person kind of converse and let their issues, you know, be heard. You know,
and to have a platform of a conversation that has to do with mental health aspects or mental health totally, but it's done in a conversation where they didn't really have to walk into a session. And not that this is a session, not that this is therapy, but it allows some leeway. Hey, Mello, it allows some leeway into the conversation. So it kind of, it takes that edge off.
100%.
You know, like, hey, we're just talking here, because that's really what it is. Like, when I see my clients, I typically don't tell them, you know, I said I don't really like to refer to myself as a therapist, because I was trained that, you know, if you're a therapist, and I've said this before on podcasts, whatever, that if I'm a therapist, it implies that one person in the room, something's wrong with them, and it's not the therapist, it's the other person. You need therapy. Okay.
Right.
So what I really am is, you know, you can be a doctor, you can be a whatever. I'm a counselor, because in a counseling situation, you have two people and it's an exchange, and it's a unit exchange. And that's what you want. That's the whole avenue that you want.
Right. It's support.
Yeah.
And that's
and that is tantamount. That's tantamount for people to have an opportunity to start to grow and heal. Is just being able to have these conversations, right? Everything doesn't have to be confrontational. Everything doesn't have to be, somewhat. How can I say?
Antagonistic, or I don't.
You can say antagonistic, but let's say more or less like we don't want to
say this is the only way that
meaning like we don't want to make them feel, like an outcast,
right?
Like,
and inclusive,
because what happens is, like you say, it's hard to ask for help. So we don't want them to we don't want to make a person feel like they're they're the one that's they could be going through something and they just don't have an outlet. So I guess the proper, in this case, even though I have like a million words running through my head, I'll just say and when these type of conversations, we want to give people an outlet so they can get what they got to say off their chest, and then start the process of, I don't want to say healing, so cliche. Start the process of growing and evolving from that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, and this is how scammers and YouTube personalities get people, because people are like hurt, and then they go to the charismatic one that might sound like he knows something or she knows something, but they all pseudo and just weird, right?
There's no true helper healer that will ever tell you this is the way it should be done.
I agree.
Who tells you that they are not a true guru, because everyone is different and everybody needs a little something different.
Right, I agree with that. Hey, Mello, you wanted to go in and say something. Here, go ahead, do your thing.
Hey, beautiful queens. Hey, hey, my boy Dre. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I'm listening to this, and I don't know why it's resonating so deep in my soul right now. It's like, I always tell people there will be things in my life that I will go through that no one else will ever experience. There will be things that Dre goes through that I will probably never come across in my life. There will be things that you, Christina and Andrea, go through that I may never see in my lifetime. Everybody has their own journey in this life.
Yep.
And not everything that works for someone is going to work for somebody else.
That's right.
It's just the reality of life. With that being said, it's also a thing of knowing who the F you are, period. When you know who you are, again, and when you begin to love yourself, it's just like me trying to tie somebody else's shoe and I can't tie my own. You have to know you. Right. You have to know what works for you, what flows for you. Religion works for some people. And for some people it don't.
That's right.
That's a fact.
That's a
fact.
Correct.
So it's like when you know this about life and you know this about yourself, I think it's a beautiful thing when we're able to give our opinions and share what we've been through with other people, but also walk in that knowing that it may not work for somebody like it worked for you. And being mentally aware, I think, is the for me anyway, is the say all be all. Because when you're mentally aware, when you can work things through in your mind, it will also transcend physically. It'll transcend emotionally. It transcends in every other aspect. You have to get your mind right. You have to know what your truth is out here in this world, walking, and also understand that everybody's plight is not yours.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
even when I sit here and I think listen to you guys talk about the gym and being a big girl, I'm gonna say this. I was 13 pounds when I was born.
Wow.
Yes,
Aw.
and I have been a big girl all my life. I have been a physically fit big girl that can do splits, even though I'm way bigger than most. I got rid of my doctor because she put me through 2 years of, she couldn't believe I'm the size that I am and I'm not diabetic and my blood pressure wasn't high.
Oh my
See,
God.
Like,
that's
and it's like some people can go through life, the littlest thing can drive their blood pressure. I see people at the gym all the time and then fall dead of a heart attack.
Mm.
When it's your time, it's your time.
that's right.
Period.
That's why you
Point
need to
blank.
live it right.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing I can say on that though, the beautiful thing about it is you do have to do what you need to do because this physical body is a physical body. You can't escape that. You can't escape the fact that chemicals do what they do within inside you. So
Mhm.
you have to take care of that part.
Yes.
But at the same point in time, be a good person. You know what I'm saying? To yourself. If not to
More
anybody
so
else, to
than anything
yourself.
else. Exactly. You first.
Right.
And that's not
Right.
selfish. Like people say, oh, that's selfish when you take care of you first. No, that's selfless. And there's a
Right.
difference. You can be selfish, but if I need 20 minutes to, go run around the block, I'm good. That helps me handle the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
everybody
There's
has
a
their
difference.
own way.
Right. There's a difference between being self-centered and keeping yourself centered.
Correct.
There's that.
Oh, Mello, that was beautiful.
That's
Yeah. Well, it's actually a podcast I started some time ago with a friend of mine, but I never finished it. I'm gonna say I didn't follow through with it, but that was something I would always say. You have to be selfish with yourself, with your love, and with what you give people of your energy.
Right. Because not
Some
everybody
people you
deserves
can't.
it.
Some people didn't at that point exactly. Not everybody deserves the energy that you bring to the table.
Their
My mom always tells me that.
intentions
She says
aren't
it's good
best.
to help people, but know who you're helping. You know what I'm saying? Know what you're helping. Because people will sit there and just prey off of it.
They're energy suckers, I call them.
Yeah.
They just
Exactly.
they know you've got that good juju and they pull it out of you,
Right.
and
That's
you're left
right. That's
straight.
right.
Mello, let me
That's
ask you
right.
a question with the doctor. So for 2 years, right, your blood pressure was good, your sugar was good, right? So then, but what's the doctor telling you? Meanwhile, you're okay, but
Great question.
is she telling you?
She's
Like,
not telling me anything. She's just flabbergasted. I was on the phone with her. She called two different other doctors in different states and said to them, I literally don't know what to do. This woman is like this size and she doesn't have high blood pressure. She put me through stress tests
mm-hmm.
to check my heart. She went through everything
And this is what
you
I'm
could
saying.
possibly think of. And
Right.
she's like, I don't understand how you're this size and you're out here and you're healthy. I can't say nothing. I don't know what to say. And I'm like, lady, just say I'm healthy.
Right.
Just say that
Like,
you
listen,
can't put me in the box with
the good
every other
news is,
obese person that you've been across.
the
You can't
amazing
do that.
news is you're a healthy person. You got some good sound genetics. This is fantastic. So
That part.
you got, you're 90% in the bed. Like, that's fantastic. So you know what? Whatever you want to do, whether you're like you stay this weight or you go look, whatever, it doesn't
improve it. It's a win-win.
It's a win-win.
Nah, I'm working on improving it because honestly, as you get older, your
Right.
body can handle but only so much.
Wow.
And I see that as I'm getting older. My eyes, I can't see as good as I used to. I need glasses now to read, you know.
Yeah.
It's
Come off.
a
I'd be
lot
like,
of
who am I
things.
talking to? Forget about
Yeah.
it.
But
Right.
then instead of saying to you, listen, you got everything you need to do whatever you want with your life. You're healthy.
Well, this is part of,
you know,
this could be a whole nother podcast or episode. This is the problem with some of, I believe there's a time and a place for medicine, profession. But the medical profession has become very cut and dry and also very isolated. You know, again, my business is wellness. So the body is connected. You can't treat one thing without something else affecting it. And and a lot of times the medicines are for cover-ups. Like they only cover the symptoms. So so that's
they never do. I always say it's some money. You know, if you think of it, at the end of the day, she was happy every time that I had to step foot in her office twice a month, getting that $50 for me for that copay. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, so when medicine becomes more about the money than about the people, it makes a difference. But not only that, it shows in the person that you're dealing with as your medical professional. You can tell when a medical professional really cares about you
100%.
And when they're really just about, hey, try this new pill.
You
You can feel it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You have to be your own advocate and everything. And this goes back to, I guess, to, you know, loving yourself and relationships.
That's right.
You have to be your advocate for yourself.
And learning how to love yourself.
And realizing that all is mental. Yeah. A lot of mental, you know, stress, honestly, is probably one of the biggest things that pushes our health to the point to where you can't come back from.
Heart disease and diabetes is up. It's of course because of the pandemic, people were eating unhealthy food, but it's also stress related. It's a huge factor that when we are stressed, our body doesn't know the difference if we are running from a tiger or if we're worried about what food we're putting on the table the next day.
That's right. So that's so true.
Endorphins kick in and we are running from that tiger, but all we're doing is sitting down worrying.
Adrenaline kicks in.
Adrenaline kicks in. Yep. Our blood goes right. So our extremities, because we have to run, and our digestive system stops. So then the cortisol is released and the adrenaline. And that's why.
And that's stress on your system, right? Which is meant to be short term.
Correct, is long term.
Not long term. Stress of any kind. Put enough things on a table that's strong, it'll break.
Right.
It's too much stress on there. You know, a stress test, like you said. We're gonna bring the treadmill to like a 90-degree incline.
You're gonna be Drago and
see, like, are you trying to make me have a heart attack? Like, I don't understand. Like, what are we trying to do? But you're trying to stress to the point of where you're gonna break. You know?
And think about this too. People are worried about how they're gonna keep their homes, their cars. They're worried about the children. It's so many things.
You go to sleep with it, you dream about it, and you wake up with it, and it's on your mind all day and the next night. And
yes, you do. It's a constant ball. So it's like within between that time, and mine is working, 12 hours a day or so, going through traffic, being in the grocery stores, going to the grocery stores and finding that what you need or what is good for your family costs you more than what it is to just grab something. Yeah. It's so stressful.
And it's very more to the point where it's shocking. It's like, how
you have to make a choice. And I feel it too. Like, I'm like, you have to make a choice of what are we going to eat? What is going to go further? What is going to go? It's scary. It's really,
it is. It really is. So keeping your mental intact and keeping that 5 minutes, I say, even if it's just 5 minutes, to just breathe.
That's right.
And focus.
Right.
Focus on
where social media
your family
adds to that lack of love for ourselves sometimes, because we're scrolling through and we see these people saying, oh, look at my relationship, I love you, I love you, I love you, but then he's cheating with Joe Schmo down the block,
right? They don't get along,
right?
I know they don't get along,
and then you see these people looking gorgeous and this and that, and you're like, wow, why don't I look like that? Or what,
right?
So it wears on you.
They're at the gym again. How do they even have time? I'm exhausted. Like, how are they there again? Like, I don't understand. Or I had a friend, oh my God, the husband, I don't know who it was, gave bouquets of flowers and I'm like, and another bouquet and another bouquet. And then she's on, my husband's great, another bouquet. Oh my God, my soulmate. Wait, and then puts on social media, talk about pathology, social media, but I'm sure she did it to reach out, talked about how the husband was cheating on her. So she puts that out there on social media. So then I'm cringing. So everyone is, and I'm thinking, see, they want me to go on social media. I'm not going on. This is crazy, right? Years ago. And then everyone's like, oh my God, you hang strong. That's terrible. Right? This and that. You got to leave him, whatever you do for you, whatever. She writes back, he's my man and we're going to work through it. I'm like, why are you putting it out there then?
Right.
It's silly. Like, what are you looking for?
Right. And words are energy.
Don't tell me what to do with my relationship. I'm like, you just put it.
Right.
You just
brought it
asked everybody.
That's it. And words are energy, and we absorb that on social media. Like, there was a lot of negativity at one point on social media. Mm-hmm. Like, family and friends at each other's throat. Like it was crazy. And woo! Like, I was like, yikes! It was scary.
And to get back to the subject of what you guys were talking about as far as social media and dating, and men, social media to me has made people, it's like I'm looking for that guy who's courting anymore, like who's taking the time to get to know me anymore. Everything is just about, okay, listen, I get an itch sometime, I want you to scratch it, can you do it? Period. And it's like, okay, and your name is what?
Right.
And Andre's thinking, what's wrong with that?
Right? What did he go? He's shoveling snow and fell into vagina.
Right.
Like Dre, my favorite heathen will say, it's all about the vagina.
I know.
It's all about it. It's so crazy. And there are people, like you say, though, that really isn't on the social media wave that I can't even believe that I live in a time. I'm 46 years old, so I've been through the whole phase of when it was AOL and you had to dial up and you got the little and all you had was chat rooms. You know what I mean? Then to MySpace. And then to Facebook, and now everything else that is in play. It's so much we've been through within a matter of 25 years, I'm gonna say.
Right. When you think of technology growth in that time, it's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. Yes.
I had a pager and I was in Penn Station. I had to call grandma to pick me up.
I had to find a payphone.
On the payphone, she goes, touch the payphone. I'm like, can you imagine? Like, it was like, like sitting on the floor eating pizza in Penn Station. Like all this stuff. We were happy to have the pager and find a payphone.
Right.
So
and then we can't even begin to add on again back to the stresses of just being a human being out in this world. You know what I mean? And trying to again love yourself in the midst of everything going around you. I think I posted something on my page not too long ago saying, we're sitting here trying to be like things that have been airbrushed and filtered.
Right.
Instead of just being who the hell you are.
That's right.
And being happy. Ain't nobody saying, okay, I'm going to put this out there. You ain't got to be happy with who you are. And if you not, make the changes to get happy to be who you are. But realize that we are not perfect. And what you see, everything is just a perspective.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's all about your perspective of what you look at. Correct. You could look at somebody and be like, you know what? They look good. I want to strive to get my waistline like that or my, you know what I mean? Instead of, oh, woe is me. Woe is me, nothing. You can do and be anything you desire to be out in this world.
Correct.
It's all up to you. It's your choices.
That's right.
Do you choose to do the same?
Right. And you don't have to love yourself, if you're trying to go someplace, but you have to appreciate yourself. Right.
That's
right. As you appreciate yourself, you learn to love yourself. And once what I've learned is that you can't expect to be happy once you get there, because every time you're not happy if you're not happy with yourself.
Yeah.
And
Real
that
talk.
was, and you said like my biggest thing when I was very overweight, I wanted to be like Charlize Theron. She was in this like filming this movie.
Love this story.
And she was in like a black cat suit
with Will Smith, the superhero.
I don't even remember what it was, but I'm like, that's Hancock.
Yep.
There you go. That's who I'm going to look like. That's who I'm going to be. Right. And I started losing weight, and I'm losing weight.
So she loses all this weight.
No, not even all the weight. I lost like 75 pounds out of the 175. And I'm like, that's it. I'm going to look like Charlize Theron. And I try. And I'm like,
get it, girl.
And I'm like, wait a minute. I don't look anything like Charlize Theron. I'm like,
what did I tell you? That's because you're not Charlize
Theron.
And
I was like, you're not Charlize Theron. I'm like, all right, she's 6 something. I'm like,
First
I'm 5'2".
Right, she's 6
all right, she's blonde. Right. I'm like, I was brunette at the time. I'm like, we have a lot of differences, but that woman gave me a motivation.
Right.
And I didn't realize it now that I was trying to be like her, but that energy made me become who I am today. And I learned to appreciate the people instead of covet the people. Like there was a point
because it took you to actually make those steps to get where you are. Yep. So at the end of the day, she was a motivation, but you were the catalyst. You kept it going.
I tell everybody,
and I applaud you for that.
Thank you.
Awesome.
I appreciate that. I tell all my clients that you are the magic pill that you look for. There is no pill. There is no diet. No. The diets that work aren't from the diet you're following. It's from the consistency to do that diet.
That's right.
It's really you. And I think that's, a big factor of a lot of things.
I have a thing. I had it in the house and I put it in my office at work. I work in a school psychologist. It says, if you change nothing, nothing will change. So I have second graders in there in the room, and they're like, if you change nothing, nothing will change. And I said, yeah, because, think about it. If everything stays the same, and one of them said, you have to change the things. You change the things to do something else. I'm like, yes, you have to change something. They're like, we get it. They're like 7.
That's so funny.
They're like, you got to change the things. I'm
change
like,
the things. Yeah, exactly.
We don't want the same things, different.
That's funny.
And where's Dre at? Dre, where are you? I haven't heard. Normally you hear Dre say. He normally says something.
He fell asleep. We were talking about it. He's knocked out someplace.
Where is he?
Bathroom, restroom.
No, I just
I don't know.
No, I was just letting y'all y'all was playing tennis. Y'all was just, y'all was volleying and exchanging ideas on a level of just I didn't want to ruin the continuity of what y'all was saying. So I went and brushed my teeth. And then I went and made my pre-workout for tomorrow.
Very nice.
I put all my wives to sleep, and that was it, man.
Good night.
Right.
Good night.
Good night. Have a good night.
Yeah, I told all the wives that, listen, man, I'm tired. I'll get with y'all tomorrow, man. And I was it. But I was listening.
The Lord is hard work, Andre.
That's it. I'm just a humble servant of the Lord, and I'm just
all
doing what He told me to do.
Season, I'll tell you.
I did though. I will tell you that when I was leaving my gym today, when I was leaving Strong and Shapely, the owner's a female. She's 56. I think she said. She's about 56 year old Italian woman. And she was like, yo, it was crazy. She went as far as saying, like, Andre, you're exactly right. We like what we like when we like. We don't when we don't. She says more women need to understand the power of the P. I said, wow. And I'm just like, when I say these things, I'm vilified. But yo, me and her talked for 30 minutes. It was so dope. I told her, I said, yo, I'm gonna do a show right from the gym with you. Cause like she was talking about how she was like, what'd she say? Oh, and Christina will like this. Like she said she went on a date, I think she said about 10 years ago, with 2 millionaires. One was a doctor and one had a fleet of trucks. And the doctor was like, yo, I got a jet. She was like, through the conversation, I knew about everything he had. A jet, she said a boat, a this, a that. And she was like, it turned me off.
Yep.
And then
the truck driver, she said she just wasn't attracted to. So she was like, Andre, you're right. She said, because the baseline was the money, which I was attracted to. But with the doctor, she said that she felt like he was gonna, because she had money. Now, she did say this, which was very dope. She said, if I didn't have money, I probably would have been like, okay, a jet, a boat. You know what I'm saying?
The dog with a
She
sour
said that.
bone.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Right, exactly. She said that to me. But then she was like, but I do have a little bit of money. And then she went into the story of how she was getting plowed by Billy Idol. She said to me, but she said,
Yeah,
she
that is.
said,
I love
she
Billy.
said, I got his
Wow.
name. She said, I got his name
What gym do you
tattooed.
work out in? No, I was just kidding.
She said, I got his name tattooed on my ankle. I said, he must have had a horse in his. I'm like, you got a man's
Let
name
me see your
tattooed on you.
ankle.
It's crazy. Like this man plowed you, and you got his name on your ankle. Like it was. She showed me, and I'm just like, wow. But
Wow.
she wears it with a badge of honor. So I'm like, you can just walk
Have it
around and
too.
tell,
No.
I just got plowed by Billy Idol. It was just the weirdest
So
thing. But
on
she
one,
was so
Right.
transparent. It was a beautiful thing.
so
Wow.
on that note, and I am a big fan of Billy Idol. So can we wrap up, Andre?
Yeah. That's why I let y'all do what y'all do. This is your show, so this is I got to get ready to do the Lord's work tomorrow when I start teaching women, why they need to be a part of my camp. Nah, tomorrow's
Everyone mumbles.
Oh, God, exactly.
tomorrow. I think we're gonna do well if I can get Obsession to do it. You know how he is.
Oh, yeah.
Tomorrow I'm gonna do this thing called I'm gonna have a picture of a guy
Mhm.
in a mirror grabbing his belly, and it's gonna say, "Hey guy, you're fat. Hit the gym. Well, you're overweight. Hit the gym." And then I'm gonna show a woman who might perceive herself overweight, and then is gonna have somebody trying to sell her a waist trainer, because that's what America is. For the guy, is fix your own problems. For the woman, it's like whatever your insecurity is, there's
We
someone to
got
sell you the
something for
remedy.
it.
Waist trainers are not healthy.
I know they squeeze your organs
Yes,
in. Yes, it's
yeah.
like the corsets.
Yeah.
Right, but for every insecurity, think about it. If someone in marketing heard Andrea say they want to look like Charisse Theron, there would be someone selling Charisse Theron catsuits.
You're
Real
100%
talk.
right. You're 100% right. And that's also part of who women are. We are just like men are shaped a certain way. Women are always trying to look better, feel better, be like
Right.
someone, and and that's where that comes into play.
Right.
Absolutely.
Can I just say this though? And I'm just being 100% honest when I say this. As big and fluffy as I am, I don't want to. I always just want to be the best version of me. I admire.
I mean, that's all you should. That's all you should aspire to be anyway.
And I admire beautiful women. I admire their drive to be who they want to be. I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like me at my best, I am it. That's how I feel.
That's right. That's right. And that's when you've arrived at like who you are.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a confidence.
Always right.
But we have that base.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's
true.
the net of it. Yeah. I mean, I hope people got something from this, especially when they watch it on the replay. I hope people get something from this, and if this is why every Thursday, if how can I say, whether we have a guest for Christina or not, we're gonna try to do this so people can have an outlet to have someone listen, a one-on-one session. Maybe Mellow Moonchild could be your next guest, or I know
I was just thinking the same
I
exact
would love that.
Yeah.
That'd be
because
wonderful.
there have been a lot of things I'm going through, Christina, that I would love to, sometimes it's like, okay, where am I in this world? I was laid off of my job at the end of July. I've been going through the hoops of unemployment between different states. And when I tell you I have lost everything, I'm literally back with my parents. That's how bad it got. So it's like, I was able to get my job. I actually got my job back. And I will start this week coming up. But I left my parents' house when I was 17. I've been working honestly, since the age I was 9, because my grandmother owned a cleaning business. So
Right.
I always, would go help her out and make money. Even when my mom would get jobs at these big companies, I would go clean their offices. I've never been in a situation where I needed, when y'all was talking earlier about just saying I need help. Even me as a woman, sometimes it has been hard for me to say I need help. I will never, it's like, even right
Listen,
now, I could say that my pride is high
let
to
me
the
tell
point
you.
where,
Let me tell you though, Mello. Me and Christina. No, I introduced Christina indirectly to a guy that I went to high school with, and every single post he makes is basically saying he needs help. Like every
mm,
single one. Even though he's arrogant, even though he's super insecure, even though he is just flat out vacuous, right?
mm,
If you look at his pattern, every piece of like every post he needs help because he's doing everything but being a father to his children or being whatever he claims his higher calling is, because one day he's a preacher, the next day he's a politician, the next day he can tickle your feet, and then the next day he's
oh,
like
wow.
he's a vegan. He's gonna rid Patterson, New Jersey of this raccoon issue. It's like I don't know what's going on, but he's dead serious about it, and he's so. I was telling Christina this. He is so busy being crazy that he's too busy to really know he's crazy.
Right,
Like he
right.
really doesn't know. Like I'm telling you.
There,
And it's
when
like at first I could watch and laugh at him, but then you see another post that becomes more desperate, and then you see another. This man made a post selling social media promotion and didn't even have no one promoting. He didn't have no one liking his post. How you gonna sell me social media consultation and you don't even have someone? This man said for $49.99 I will post your business on my page for 3 days. Then he said I will like your post. There's no one liking his post. That's how crazy and just like empty
Wow.
people has become because
Oh,
we create these caricatures, right, of ourselves
mm-hmm.
because we don't like ourselves. Case in point, the
Facts.
the black rapper Genie, who is now the golden child. If you
Oh,
look at
Lord.
his progression, he went from an ex-pastor allegedly to this guy that did this allegedly to getting a stomach surgery to then becoming a genie and then becoming this and then becoming that and then becoming this. Why? Because they
Polygamous.
right because
well,
and he
polygamous,
stole that from me. But the thing is like what like yo bruh, like how can I say this? It's like listen, I get it. We're all listen. Every functional human being is on somewhat on the spectrum of narcissism. I get it, but like he is an ultimate narcissist, right? You see it.
Mm-hmm.
You see it in different people. My friend today texted me what Umar was saying, and I told him I couldn't even watch it any longer. Meaning, I refuse to watch Umar and the Breakfast Club because he's nothing but a class A narcissist who
Clown.
just says things that makes none of it has
as a school
anything to
psychologist, I
it,
cringe.
which makes it worse because what he does is he the one thing he does that's just right. He does enough affinity fraud and enough black extremity to make it seem like
Mm-hmm.
he's super righteous. But when you
Right.
look at it, it's almost like saying it's like Mellow Moonchild saying there ain't no toilet paper in the supermarket. That's because you dating a white man. Like, what are we talking about? What does me dating a white woman have anything with them
Right.
lacking toilet paper?
Right.
And that he literally makes everything out of it.
Well, listen, that's the social media platform for craziness, to promote craziness and swindling and taking advantage of and misleading. So you have that. going back to what Mello was saying, there is no way, we have trouble asking for help, right? There's no way, as a mental health professional, I'm listening to her and I'm thinking, there's no way someone wouldn't need help after that. And that doesn't mean you can't survive the situation. You can't thrive out of that situation eventually. It doesn't mean you can't handle the situation, that you're not competent to do it, that you're not resourceful and have ingenuity to get through it. No one's saying that. It's inside you. It's hard. And it's dramatic. Not like you need help like you're incompetent. You need help because you've just been, your life has been obliterated right now.
Upside down.
You're upside down. So you need help with reconciling that in your head.
Exactly.
Not like you're useless and can't fix it. You're gonna fix it, but
I did fix it.
Right.
But it took bowing down to, saying I have said things that I said I never would do that I'm actually doing because of the situation. Like, I know I need to get back to work and have to do that. And there was a job that I really did not want to go back to. But I had to say, I have to suck that up and do what I have to do if I'm going to get to where, and I have to realize this too. I am a very talented person. I write scripts, I sing, I write songs, I write poetry, I do artwork. I'm a very talented person, and I cook on top of that. And I make some very good food.
Having dinner, that's
there we
go.
But it's like, okay, so I know I know these things, this work situation is just a temporary thing for me. But I also realize the balance of life. It's not gonna rain all the time.
That's right.
The sun eventually is gonna come out. And it's like I just have to wait out the storm. That's how I feel sometimes. I just have to wait out the storm.
When they say, nothing good lasts forever, well, then the other part of it has to be, well, nothing bad lasts forever.
Doesn't last forever either.
You have to have the other part with it.
That part, to me, it's like that's the bottom line. I'm a bottom line person. That's the bottom line.
Temporary.
Everything is temporary. Even a moment that you're so excited and in happiness, even that's going to be temporary.
That's right.
Even those moments that you're crying tears and you don't know how you're going to get through, it's temporary. It's all about the choice you make to keep pushing forward or to give in to that storm and drown in it. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's all about your choices.
That's it. That's what life is. Life is a set of choices.
It really is. It is.
Sometimes you have to surrender to that. Yep. And let
you do
take over you to actually see where you need to go or how you're going to swim to the top. Like that's really sometimes that's the way it has to be done.
Right.
Well, Christina, send us home, man.
Okay. So I would like to thank everyone for participating in the show tonight.
Thank you.
My sister, who I love dearly, and we'll shout you out and where we can find you with your socials in a second.
Right.
For one of my best friends, Andre, who always pushes me to, do what I need to do. And for my new friend, Mellow Moonchild, who is awesome and a great contributor to our show, who will be my next guest on the next show. And Andrea, where do we find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Facebook at The Enlightened Colonist, and then also my website, which is theenlightenedcolonist.com.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right. Andre, have anything to add?
This show has been brought to you by the Andre School of Financial Literacy and Polygamy Science, where our motto is we turn women into wives one day at a time.
Okay.
And
all right.
I'm not signing off on that, but okay.
Right. I'm gonna put
all right. Bye bye.
All right.